My wife Jane, 34 years old, and I, 38 years old, have been together for 5 years. She also brought my stepdaughter Emily, 9 years old, into our marriage. We have her for 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, while she's at her dad's, Friday to Sunday. From the beginning, Jane told me Emily doesn't need a second father figure, as she has her dad to fill that role. I was only supposed to be a trusted authority figure in case she ever needed anything. I didn't mind and tried my best to respect that boundary. She's a sweet child anyway and doesn't cause trouble, so it's not like I have to discipline her. Her father is also a good dad. Emily's dad recently got married, and his wife has 2 kids of her own who are at their place Wednesday to Saturday, and at their dad's Sunday to Tuesday. Emily and her new step-siblings don't get along at all. They're always fighting, and it's pretty toxic. Emily's dad asked Jane if they could change their custody schedule to match his stepkids to keep the children apart. It's not a big deal in and of itself because we don't live far from each other, so picking up and dropping off is no issue, and she can easily be dropped off at school no matter where she stays. The issue is my wife agreed to it without consulting me. Jane is currently doing a certification course for the next 12 months, and they have classes on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. She asked me if I can babysit Emily on Saturdays, but I can't because I play golf with my brother and sister on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. This has been our tradition from before Jane and Emily came into my life, and I had told Jane a long time ago that this is important to me and my siblings. She asked if I can move it to another day, but that's not possible either because my siblings also have jobs and families of their own, so Saturday was the best day for us. I told her she can hire a babysitter, but she doesn't want to spend money when I can do it for free. I told her that wouldn't work for me. She then got mad and said golf is stupid and I should put my stepdaughter over my siblings. That pissed me off, so I told her I'm not going to sacrifice my hobbies just so that she can have a free babysitter. For the record, I don't have anything against Emily. I babysat her before and she's a good kid. If there was a family emergency, or if it was an occasional occurrence, then yeah, I would cancel golf for that day to take care of her. But I can't give up something this important to me for 12 months continuously. She called me a selfish jerk and slept on the couch last night. So am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I always want to say thank you to everyone for your kind words and voices of support. Emily deserves to feel cared for and not like a hot potato who no one wants. I spoke to my brother and his wife, and they have offered to let Emily stay at their home on Saturday morning with their other children so that we can golf. My wife has also agreed, albeit reluctantly, to this arrangement. I have also told her that this arrangement isn't tenable anymore. If she expects me to have parental responsibilities towards Emily, then she needs to treat me like another parent of her daughter. We're going to family counselling to see how we can make this work. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I was ready to read this and read you for filth, but this is truly an AH move from your wife. I think it's totally fair that she asks you to help out, but agreeing to it without talking to you and assuming you'd consistently do this is wild. Why did she agree and then work to loop you in after? It's also interesting that now that your wife needs your help, Emily is your stepdaughter, where it seems like there was a clear boundary that you aren't a father figure. If your wife wants to revisit what your role is to Emily, totally cool, but it shouldn't be because she needs a babysitter. Comment 3. You let her know from the beginning that your Saturdays would not change. Plus, she has no right to accept the deal without telling you, especially since it so clearly will affect your life for the next year. Does she really not have any family that can take the kid for those hours? She then got mad and said golf is stupid and I should put my stepdaughter over my siblings. Frick that. Your siblings are your blood relatives whom you are close to. Emily is just your stepdaughter, and your siblings have been in your life a hell of a lot longer. Not the idiot. Now for the update. Jane and I had a heart-to-heart a couple of days after the argument. We both let our emotions cool down and talked things out. I fully acknowledged Emily's importance in my life. I might not be her biological father, but she's been a daughter to me for the past 5 years. I also expressed how I felt about being excluded from the custody decision. Jane admitted she should have involved me in the custody change decision and apologised. In retrospect, she agreed it wasn't fair to Emily or me. She also acknowledged the importance of my Saturday golf tradition. It isn't just about the game, but a bonding time with my siblings, something that has been a constant in my life. Here's our compromise. I will cancel golf every other Saturday to be with Emily. Jane will try to arrange with Emily's father for her to spend some Saturdays with him. This would not only give me some Saturdays off, but also give Emily a chance to potentially build relationships with her step-siblings. We're not expecting it to be smooth sailing from the start, but we hope over time they can learn to get along. On the alternate Saturdays, when I will be with Emily, we decided to start our own tradition, something like a daddy-daughter day. We've brainstormed a list of activities from hiking to DIY projects and even golfing. Emily seems excited about this new arrangement. She's particularly thrilled about trying out golf. I might be raising a future pro here, who knows? Jane has also agreed to involve me in any major decisions about Emily going forward, and I will make sure to be more proactive about my role as Emily's stepfather. We've learned that communication is key. It's not only about our relationship as husband and wife, but also as a family with Emily. Things are looking up. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a compromise we're both happy with. We're a team, after all, and we're in this together. Now for the comments, not the idiot. It's fantastic that you've made an effort to express your feelings about being excluded from the custody decision. It's important for everyone involved to have a say, especially when it involves a child's well-being. Plus, your new Daddy-Daughter Day tradition sounds like a great way to strengthen your bond with Emily. Not the idiot. Jane should have involved you in the decision-making process from the start. You're Emily's stepfather, and your role in her life is just as important. It's good that she's acknowledged her mistake and is making an effort to rectify it. Remember, communication is key in every relationship. No idiots here. It sounds like both you and Jane are putting Emily's best interests at heart. It's a difficult situation to navigate, and there's bound to be some missteps along the way. As long as you both continue to communicate and make an effort to involve each other in decisions regarding Emily, then you're both doing what's best for her. Now for the next story. My daughter got pregnant in her second year of college, which was not a good time. My husband and I stepped up so she could finish college, which she did. She just graduated and just got a job. The problem is, at the moment, she cannot afford childcare or rent since her job is not great. We were hoping she would be moving out by the end of the year. She told us today that she is pregnant again. When she told us, I said, "Not again." She asked if I was happy for her, and I told her no, that we will not look after another kid, and we already wanted her to find her own place by the end of the year or next summer at the latest. She is upset with us, and we got into an argument. She thinks we are jerks. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your daughter is my sister. When she got pregnant the first time, we bent over backward to help her. I became a single teen mum when she was 15, and she didn't learn from my mistakes. While I was still struggling when she got pregnant at 18, I still did everything I could to help her, as did my parents, who were not wealthy, and we all worked full-time. When she got pregnant with her second, we were not happy and shared that as we were all still supporting her. She called us names and was horrible to us until she called crying for help. Less than a year after that, there was baby Hash 3. She blamed us for her continued struggles and how we never helped enough or supported her in her desire to have kids. Even though I had previously moved out of my deceased grandmother's home that I lived in and rented a place so she could live for free to raise them, she let it fall in disrepair and it was condemned. A year later, she was pregnant with Hash 4. There were complications and she lost the child and had a hysterectomy. Even more sadly, our family was so relieved/happy, we actually felt bad enough we got therapy because who thinks like that? If you don't stick to making her take responsibility, you'll be paying for her and her kids like my parents still are for my sister 9 years later. I refused to have intimacy for so long after I got pregnant on BC as a teen. It's not hard to prevent pregnancy when you know you aren't in a financial position to care for a family. She made this choice thinking you would step up with no consideration of her children's or your future. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I got pregnant in college too, and I could not afford or care for a baby, so I got a baby unaliving. You're welcome, America. I do think it can be confusing for the teen moms whose pregnancies are celebrated by their families. They kept the baby. We're going to shower them with gifts and help and attention. And then the young mom gets used to being the young teen mom, so they get pregnant again, and are shocked that the reaction isn't overwhelming delight, because family set them up the first time as special. So I can understand her confusion. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You have already made her life so cozy that she feels that getting pregnant is a privilege she can afford. She needs to get child support, take responsibility and move out to the real world. It is ridiculous to think that you need to take the responsibility. She did not get pregnant on her own, therefore there is a father out there somewhere. Now, for the update. My daughter has ghosted us. 3 days after our argument, she was gone. Left the baby with us and a note that read, "I need some time, I'll be back." We were frantically worried. We had no idea where she was, if she was safe, if she was taking care of herself and the unborn baby. The police had been contacted, her friends questioned. Nobody had seen or heard from her. Then out of nowhere, an email. It was from her, but she didn't mention where she was. She just said she was safe and not to worry. Seeing those words was a bit of relief, but we were still on edge. We tried replying, asking for any details, any information, but the email bounced back. It was a burner account. Meanwhile, we're taking care of our grandchild. That's another journey in itself. We're both over 60 and suddenly thrust into parenthood again. A week passed, then suddenly another twist. Our daughter returned, but she wasn't alone. She brought a man with her, a man she introduced as her husband. He was a guy from her college, someone we vaguely remembered. She told us they had eloped and she was pregnant with his child. The guy, her so-called husband, confessed that he was in fact the father of her first kid too. All this time we thought she was alone, struggling to raise a baby on her own. But she had a partner who was equally responsible. It turns out that he was from a wealthy family, and they didn't approve of their relationship. The guy had now finally grown a backbone, cut off his financial lifeline with his family, and decided to support my daughter and his children. He found a job, a small apartment, and was ready to shoulder the responsibility. We were conflicted. We were angry, relieved, and confused all at once. But looking at our daughter, we saw a sense of calm and relief we hadn't seen in a long time. So we cautiously accepted this new development. They are planning to move out next month. So here we are now. It's been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. Nothing went as planned. Everything is upside down. And yet somehow there's a strange sense of peace. It's all very wild, very unexpected. But maybe in some odd way this was meant to be. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. You were understandably worried about your daughter's safety and well-being, especially given that she left her child behind. It's natural for parents to feel concerned when their adult child suddenly disappears without any explanation. It's great that she eventually returned and everyone is safe, but her actions were still quite inconsiderate. Communication is key in any relationship, and she should have at least let you know she was safe sooner. 2. You're the idiot. Your daughter is an adult, and she has the right to live her life as she sees fit, even if that includes eloping with a man who cut off his wealthy family to be with her. While her disappearing act was not ideal, it's important to respect her autonomy. It's clear that she felt she couldn't share her plans with you beforehand, which should prompt some introspection about why that might be. 3. No idiots here. It sounds like a stressful and confusing situation for everyone involved. Your daughter probably felt she had to make some drastic decisions for her own happiness, and you were rightfully worried about her sudden disappearance. Now that everything's out in the open, it's time to have a heart-to-heart talk to understand each other better and avoid such misunderstandings in the future. Now for the next story. I married my husband last weekend after about a year of planning. The ceremony went off perfectly, even with kids in the church. The formal photos were not delayed. No one got drunk and wrecked anything. No one insisted on bringing their emotional support goat. The only hitch was that my in-laws invited about 10 extra people without telling us. Not relatives or anything. Just friends of theirs we did not invite since we don't know them. I did not notice them at the ceremony, and it wasn't until the reception that there were issues. There was no seating for them. Our best man and groomsmen found a folding table and chairs for them to sit at. There was food. We went with a buffet, but since we sent the tables to eat by number and they didn't have a number, they were sent last after everything had been picked over. My in-laws were embarrassed that their friends were being treated that way. I, very politely, asked them what they expected when they invited people without telling the people planning and paying for the wedding. They said we needed to go apologize for their treatment. I said I would, but I would also explain that they had not actually been invited. If they wanted their guests told anything else, then they had to go explain. They are upset with me. My husband has my back 100%. I think I could have been more gracious, but I also think it should not have fallen on us to deal with it. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If anything, I would apologize to the friends for their not having a table to sit at initially and having to go last to the buffet, but that is because neither you or spouse were aware that they had been invited by in-laws and you hadn't anticipated any additional guests. This way, you get to control the narrative instead of ILs throwing you under the bus and making you look bad instead of admitting their faux pas. They probably sent gifts, cards, so you apologizing for in-laws' bad behavior makes in-laws guilty of humiliating both their uninvited guests and the happy couple. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I don't see how you could have been more gracious. Letting them know that you had no idea they were coming would have explained why they were at a hastily placed table and last to the buffet. This is all on your in-laws, and now you need to be watching for future similar behaviour and nip it in the bud, hoping not to see AITA for disbanding in-laws' surprise baby welcoming party at our home that I was expected to host when we arrived with newborn from the hospital. Comment 3. Your in-laws are of course entirely out of line and are the jerks here, but the people they invited are also jerks for even showing up. They did not receive an actual invite. Is this their first day on Earth? Do they not know how weddings work? They didn't think it was odd that their invitation was a verbal one from the groom's parents and not a physical paper one sent in the mail by the couple? Not the idiot now for the update. Since that incident, the in-laws' resentment towards me took a turn that I never saw coming. My mother-in-law, fueled by her belief that I had unfairly put the blame on them for the wedding fiasco, started a rather passive-aggressive campaign against me. She began by sharing posts on Facebook about respecting the elders and how not to be a rude daughter-in-law, subtly directed at me. The real shocker came when I was called into my boss's office on Monday. Apparently my mother-in-law contacted my workplace and claimed I was using company resources for my personal events, including wedding planning. She had no proof, of course, but the damage was done. My boss, although understanding, was clearly taken aback. My job is secure for now, but I'm on thin ice. She didn't stop there. She started to contact old friends, even my high school ex, spreading rumours about me having an affair. I got a random message from my ex, asking if I was okay and saying he didn't believe a word of it. I was stunned. My husband, bless his soul, is standing by me, but I can see the whole saga has taken its toll on him. He confronted his parents, demanding an explanation, but they vehemently denied everything. Instead, they accused me of trying to drive a wedge in their family. Their audacity is beyond belief. Now, the latest development is perhaps the most distressing. My father-in-law has threatened to disinherit my husband if we don't issue a public apology to them. He doesn't care about the inheritance, but I hate to see him pitted against his own parents. The situation has spiraled out of control. I never thought that a wedding mishap, something so trivial, would lead to such cataclysmic events. We're looking into getting a restraining order against them, and I've started documenting all the incidents in case we need to take legal action. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but my gut says this is just the beginning. I'll keep you all updated. Wish us luck. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's clear that you're being targeted and bullied by your mother-in-law. She's not only making your life difficult with her passive-aggressive behaviour, but she's also jeopardising your job and spreading false rumours. You're not responsible for the family division. Her actions are. You're within your rights to take legal action to protect yourself. 2. Not the idiot. You're dealing with a malicious individual who's trying to sabotage your relationship and career. Your husband confronting his parents is a good start, but it's important that he continues to stand up for you. As for the threat of disinheritance, it's just another manipulation tactic. If things continue as they are, a restraining order and potential legal action seem necessary. 3. Not the idiot. You're being subjected to false accusations and defamation. Your mother-in-law is causing emotional distress and making false accusations that could have serious implications for your professional life. Documenting incidents and considering legal action is a wise choice. Moreover, it's unfair to expect an apology when you're the one being wronged. Stay strong and don't let her actions deter you. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.